Hey everyone, this is Louis7 and I want to talk a bit about how the legendary servers are holding up and kind of in my set of videos about the servers and the release of the Mines of Moria Expansion pack to the legendary servers. This will be more of a review of the servers, also touching back to my initial video with my first impressions and just some of my early thoughts in my first review. The gameplay in the background will be some sort of group content, but I don't know what, because the time of recording this, the LOTRO servers are still down, going on their 3.5 day it looks like so far. But moving on with this video, a lot of the fun of the legendary servers is not just running level 50 in-game content for gear and typical in-game stuff, but a big appeal of the legendary servers is a condensed leveling experience with a much higher population density, so you can run content on level with a lot more players than you would see on the regular servers. On top of that, the servers are geared towards having a greater sense of community, somewhat as a result of population density and just limited level ranges. So I will touch on all of that, as well as a few other things I noted in my previous review, which I will be linking below in the description. I will also be adding the context that we are approaching Moria, at least at the time of recording this, and how these topics in this video may look going forward in the future with Moria and maybe even future expansions. Before I get to that though, I want to talk a bit more about what I've done on the legendary servers. I now have a couple characters to level 50 and I've run in-game content on them, including raids and challenges and stuff like that, so I have some actual experience doing that now. I also have made a few more alts and leveled in a variety of zones and did a few different methods of leveling on some of them. I've also done a lot more events with my kinship, the Mithril League, and finally I just think generally playing on these servers for about 4 months has definitely given me some new perspectives on the servers and new opinions. So let's go ahead and start getting into the actual review portion of this video finally. Overall, I am still very much so enjoying the servers and loving my experience here. I will go ahead and go through a list of reasons I am enjoying the servers so much, going over stuff I touched on in my previous review, and then some new reasons to be enjoying the servers as I played them more, and then finally giving some more general thoughts, and maybe some more negative feedback afterwards. The first thing I have for y'all that I am enjoying about the servers is the sense of community, and that is still a very strong aspect of these servers, especially now that I am playing more with my kinship and we are doing more stuff together. But even outside that, I still feel a better sense of community than the other servers, namely I guess Arkenstone, since that is the other one that I play. But in general, the game just feels more social, even with world chat and all the stuff you get there, but it still has been pretty pleasant actually after 4 months. People often get help if needed in world chat, and that is nice to see, as well as getting groups for stuff if they need some help with questing or something like that. I have noticed there is a little bit less of players giving out just free stuff to other players, but that unfortunately just naturally makes sense as a lot more people have been playing, getting gold, getting their crafting up and finished, etc. So not giving out free gear from leveling crafting basically is what it seemed like a lot of people are doing at the server start. But to weave population into this topic, which goes in with the next thing I'll cover, there are still a lot of players, and if I compare like Anor with Arkenstone, one of the more populated regular servers, there have always been more non-anonymous players online, again on the Anor legendary server specifically at least, so that is nice to see still. The second thing I am enjoying is increased population density still after 4 months of the servers being out. We just see a lot more players under level 50 running on-level group content than the regular servers, and I am also still seeing a lot more players just randomly out questing or doing whatever in LOTRO's pretty big open world there. It's just really nice to see other people and be able to play with them, which will actually be my next topic. I believe this can also make Moria more fun if you are interested in running into tons of other people in that massive cave. The third thing I am really enjoying, which may be a function of the first two, is being able to find groups and run instances and other content on level with other players. Before I get into this, I will admit it has been quite a bit more difficult to find people for groups, specifically in the level 35 to 45 range the past couple weeks. It has taken quite a while to find groups, but importantly, I have continued to be able to find groups at least, and some days I do still have just zero issues with waiting and finding some people who want to run stuff in that level range. Outside of that level range, I haven't had any issues at all still, and I am just really enjoying running LOTRO instances on level, especially at the lower levels. So the legendary servers are still very strongly delivering in regards to this, and something I definitely love about them. This is a big reason I recommend playing the legendary servers. Actually, you can run a lot of the instances along the way as you level up with an on-level group at the time, the kind of story and quest-wise that you should be running them. And I'm really excited for this, going into Moria and running a lot of that stuff on level. For the fourth thing, in my old review, I mentioned the limited level gap between a brand new player and a maxed out level 50. So this level 50 gap is still the same, it's still pretty small, but of course there are now a lot more actually level 50 players, but the actual level, time, content, etc. gap is still only 50 levels again, and not the insane 120 levels the regular servers have, which does have a lot more content with it if you are interested in that and don't care about this stuff, but this will increase to 60 in Mines of Moria, and I guess it's slightly more burdensome, but if you are interested in joining the servers fresh, I think this is actually a great time to go ahead and start that. Even though you do have to play a bit of catch up to 50, a lot of people will be fresh to leveling to 60, so you won't be much behind at all. So yeah, if you feel like you'd be too far behind, that is something I definitely wouldn't worry about, and would still recommend joining around now to get caught up on the first 50 levels so you can get ready to go into Mines of Moria there. The fifth thing I enjoy is the minus 40% server-wide XP debuff. I still like that it exists, and it gives me more opportunity to be questing and leveling while not getting too far ahead of the content I am doing, and also still feel like I'm actually progressing instead of say just disabling my XP, which would completely demotivate me from doing the content. I also like that they have had the plus 100% XP events for people wanting to level more quickly, like leveling alts like myself in some cases. I think this will be beneficial going into Moria, the minus 40% debuff, so we don't outlevel all the stuff in there super quickly, especially with Lothlorien existing. But honestly, I am still slightly concerned that I'll be outleveling a lot of the stuff I want to do, but that's also in a way a good thing, just so I can get some variety on doing different zones on different characters to make my way up to level 60. So now we will start moving into some new things that I am enjoying about the servers that I didn't highlight at all in my previous review. And for the sixth thing, I have to bring up in-game content. I am enjoying running some of the in-game raids and instances such as Rift of Ner'zghashu and Helagrod with my kin. If you follow my channel, you probably noticed this with me streaming those runs whenever I do them. And I do actually have some more negative opinions about the raids specifically and the stuff in them, but kind of the overall way gear and character power is set up right now in LOTRO, a lot of it has been pretty fun to go through. So I'm thinking more Helagrod specifically. I could go into a lot of details with that along with Rift, but we won't get into that in this video actually. But going into Moria, I am excited to do even more instances and raids that I have honestly never done or just only soloed at very high levels, so I still wouldn't really consider that going through them, so I'm excited for that in Moria. The seventh thing I've been enjoying, it applies to the regular servers as well, but is boosted by the overall legendary server experience and story pace XP debuff, so I really enjoy the variety of leveling zones. At higher levels, they just kind of release a set of zones for you to level up in without having multiple options. It's pretty linear, kind of unlike before level 50 when we have a lot of options, and there are some occasional areas at higher level where this isn't true, and sometimes they do release new in-game content without increasing the level cap, so you do see some minor variations that you can go through, but overall the amount of zones per level range is much less. And anyway, I love just having Angmar, Misty Mountains, Foreshell, and Eregion all options for kind of 40. I know it's going to be a bit different for each zone, but kind of 40 to 50 all options for higher level, while keeping Lonelands, North Downs, Evendim, and even Trollshaws in there, all options to do before those. I just really like having the options and going through different zones on different alts, getting different experiences on them, which maybe you have seen that on my channel since I'm doing full zone playthroughs and zone reviews of all these zones, because I am enjoying that experience a lot. So the eighth and final thing I have for y'all is a little bit different, but I just really love that SSG is continuing to support the legendary servers and make updates in regards to the content of the legendary servers, balance changes that impact the servers, and a lot of stuff like that. In fact, in a future video to look out for, I will be covering some of this stuff as the topic of a whole video if you are interested. Okay, that was quite a lot, but I do have some general thoughts to share now. So in my review before, I noted that playing the legendary server felt like playing a whole new LOTRO, so even taking into account the servers being 4 months old now, it actually doesn't really feel like I'm playing a new game that is only out for 4 months. After leveling and running some raid content, it feels a lot more like old LOTRO to me that I've always been playing just different content. I don't really mean to make this sound bad, I just thought it was interesting, first of all, that I experienced that and it felt like that first, because it is kind of the same LOTRO, it's the exact same game. But yeah, I thought it was interesting that I experienced that, but now it feels more normal, I guess, and I don't really have that feeling anymore. Probably has to do with it being a fresh start server and that whole thing. And also with some of the character updates and U23 scaling that changed the way a lot of the low-level stuff played there. But moving on, we'll go ahead and get into some of the feedback and things I am maybe not enjoying as much about the Legendary server experience, which is actually a pretty small list. The first thing I have for you all here is loot boxes. I really don't want to support loot boxes, and they are in the game and drop like crazy now. Personally, I do get 4 keys from my anniversary boxes and save 4 loot boxes to open with those, but I never spend LOTRO points on keys and again don't want to support this system. So that takes away from the game a little bit, especially since the gear inside the loot boxes can be good from these, but you do have to rely heavily on RNG, so I also don't like that aspect of it. And the cosmetic system that comes with them isn't actually too bad for me specifically, again getting my 4 keys and being able to open 4 loot boxes per character basically. But it is actually really expensive to get the cosmetic sets from those, and I'll just kind of leave this topic there because I could keep going on about why I dislike loot boxes. And this isn't a problem unique to the Legendary servers, it's especially in the regular servers as well. But moving on, the second and final thing for this list is some pieces of gear still don't scale well. Now, Standing Stone Games has done a great job on fixing most pieces of gear, but some particular pieces and even pieces of crafted gear just don't have their stats scaled up to the new Update 23 standard. Off the top of my head, I've just been going through Angmar on my Runekeeper and some of the Fem gear just not updated at all. So on this note as well, my Tailor, my Runekeeper again, so some of the much lower level crafted gear he can make is more useful than higher level pieces. So for example, some level 22 and 25 crafted medium armor pieces are better than the level 40 teal pieces or even 42 purple, and that just doesn't feel right to me. And overall, the 40 and 42 pieces specifically do have more stats in some cases, most cases, but other cases some lower level pieces of crafted gear have more stats than higher level pieces of crafted gear. It really doesn't make sense. But to get back on topic, they have the higher level pieces sometimes just have worse itemization, which isn't necessarily a problem, but being much less useful than lower level crafted armor doesn't feel right as well, and I still think that is an issue that they somehow need to address, and maybe just the different stats that the higher level pieces of gear have, they could actually be more useful or have bigger numbers to be more impactful. But yeah, there are some other pieces like rep rewards and some of the instance gear you can buy at barter at a skirmish camp. They just don't really scale that well, so there still is, to me at least, an issue there that I would like to see addressed in the future. It looks like they are starting to fix that with Moria. I don't know which exact Moria pieces have been fixed with that and updated, but that'll be interesting to see as far as going into Moria and even future expanses. They'll keep up with that pretty well. Okay, so that is my 4-month into the Legendary servers review as we head into Mines of Moria and in the future. I am very excited for Moria to be released, even though I still feel like I have a ton to do and a ton I can do in Shadows of Angmar before it does release. I still want to get to Moria and do that content. In fact, I will also have some Mines of Moria related videos covering why I'm excited for its release leading up to the launch day, I guess, which is still unknown. But to get back on topic, I want to quickly summarize just some stuff from this video. I still do really enjoy the Legendary servers and have a ton of fun on them, and that is why I play them more than the regular servers, which I have less fun on. And there are some issues, but Standing Stone Games has been doing a pretty good job of addressing a lot of these. So yeah, that will be it for this video and kind of re-review of the Legendary servers experience as we head into Moria. Some more content to look forward to from my channel includes some Mines of Moria related videos again, another review style video about the Legendary servers specifically concerning things SSG has fixed and addressed, and just some more videos in general regarding these servers. I do have some loose plans set up for some other ones, but those are more specific ones you can look out for. And I hope you all have enjoyed this video, and if you did, please consider liking and subscribing for more, and thanks for watching, everyone.